Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 3.24. Now in this particular Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is elaborating on yet another vibhuti that the Yoga Sadhak can work towards. And this particular vibhuti represents physical might and strength. So let's take a look at the sutra, start breaking it up word by word and understanding it in even greater depth. So the sutra itself goes, Baleshu Hasti Baladini. Alright, so this is the sutra itself. Now let's break it up word by word and try to see what it's communicating. The first word over here is Bala or Bala, and Bal refers to particular strength or might, particularly physical strength in this case. Then coming to the next word, we have Hasti. And it's really interesting here because this refers to an elephant actually, or a hathi as we also know it in Hindi. So this is referring to an elephant or an elephant-like strength in this case. And then the last word is Baladini. So again, Bala means power and Adi over here which is appearing means etc. So it's trying to indicate to us that the might or the physical power along with other such qualities or other such qualities. So now let's try to understand what is the sutra saying overall. So the sutra is trying to say that one who does sanyam or focuses very deeply on the might of an elephant or the power of such an magnificent creature can actually co-develop that. There are obviously certain conditions to be followed, but through that deep concentration and yogic practice, one can actually develop similar physical might and strength. So now let's dive much deeper into the sutra and try to see how this is possible, and let's see how we can work through this a little more. Alright, so first off, I'm sure you're wondering how is that possible, right? Because if this was the case, then bodybuilders could have just meditated upon elephants and their might and that's it, they would have built their strength from there. So this is obviously not excluding the proper diet, exercise and yogic physical practices. This is kind of something that is complementary or goes along with it from a mental perspective. Now, in this previous sutra, which is 3.23, we looked at sort of a mental aspect or a mental vibhuti of friendliness and maitri. But in this particular sutra, we're now moving into the physical realm of strength, might and power. And so Muni Patanjali is just trying to help us to understand that just the way a vibhuti can develop in the mental space, in a very similar way, a vibhuti can develop in this kind of a physical space as well. So that's an important point to kind of keep in mind, because oftentimes we think that maybe these are entirely mental processes and they won't have an impact physically. But through this example, I think we're introduced to the fact that it can take place on a much more physical level as well. So now that we've understood the basic premise of the sutra, let's take a moment to think about how this might be possible. There are a lot of people who, work in circuses or who have actually worked with animals and trained with them, who are able to sort of demonstrate similar kind of might, similar kind of strength and agility. And so it's not that much of a surprise that this sutra is being mentioned. The cases of such people are very few and far between. But however, through the experience of this sutra and what it's trying to prescribe to us, it does seem quite likely. Just the way we would visualize something in a meditation and, if you wanted to kind of become as majestic as a horse, we would kind of visualize the strength, the power, the vitality that a horse has, sort of the way it runs across empty fields, the strength and the power that it exudes and represents. So in a very similar manner, this is kind of, indicating that focusing on an elephant or any similar creature whose abilities or strengths we would like to emulate, by focusing on those or visualizing them, we actually come very closely in contact with them. It works on the same principle or similar principle that our modern day affirmations and visualizations work on today. It takes a lot of time for it to show up, and you kind of have to keep the faith throughout the process, but that is exactly what the sutra is indicating. Now, on a personal level, I haven't personally experienced this. I think I'm saying this pretty much for all the vibhutis, because we're all just very, even if you've practiced for 10, 20 years, we're all beginners because we still live in the modern world. We're hybrid yogis and yoga teachers, and it takes a lot of time to really get at the level that the yog sadhaks were at the time that this book was written. So we have to also understand that something like this is not very easily demonstrated. We may not have real life case studies around us, but keeping and respecting the time in which this book was written, we can take some inspiration from it, some guidance from it, and try to work towards it in our own small way. So this is Sutra 3.24. I hope you found this valuable and very useful. If you have, please don't forget to leave your thoughts and comments in the comments box below. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more videos on a weekly basis. Also, please do share this video with your friends and family, especially those who are studying the Yoga Sutras or yoga philosophy and could benefit from such information. Now, we look forward to seeing you in the upcoming video or in an upcoming class or workshop, the details for which are in the description, and we'd love to connect with you really soon. So until then, take care, keep practicing, and we're going to see you in the next one. Namaste.